All right, thank you for joining me. We are in the last book of not only the New Testament, but of the Bible, and it is the book of Revelation. And that's what we're looking at today on Bible Blueprint of the New Testament. Now, Revelation is 27th in order in the New Testament. There are 22 chapters in the book of Revelation, and the type of book it is prophecy. An overview of the book of Revelation. This epistle was written by John the Apostle after his exile to the island of Patmos. His epistle is divided into two parts. The first addressed the seven churches of Asia and events at the time it was written, and the second part prophesied of future days and the end of the world. Almost exclusively prophecy, Revelation mirrors Old Testament prophets such as Amos, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, and Ezekiel in intriguing ways. While seemingly radical and highly symbolic, the book can be relevant and welcomed by believers of the millennium. Now, Revelation was written between 90 to 95 AD. The time period covered all eras in the age of grace, and the author is Jesus Christ through the Apostle John. Now, there are 7 sections to the book of Revelation. Section 1, Introduction. We see this in chapter 1. John details how he received his vision from an angel of the Lord and gives a description of Jesus Christ. He ascribes his message to the church as having been delivered from Jesus himself. Section 2, Letters to the churches. We see this in chapters 2 to 3. John gives 7 churches in Asia Minor correction and condemnation and commendation, promising exhortation for those that overcome. Section 3, 7 seals, trumpets, bowls, judgments. We see this in chapters 4 through 11. John sees a book sealed with 7 seals and 7 judgments where only the Lamb is found worthy to open the judgment scrolls. John sees 2 prophets who died, are resurrected, and ascended to heaven. Section 4, the prophets and the beasts. We see this in chapters 11 through 13. John sees a woman with child threatened by a dragon and describes a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads risen from the sea. Another beast is numbered as 666. Chapter 5, God's wrath completed. We see this in chapters 14 through 16. John sees the redemption of 144,000 angels preaching the gospel, the fall of Babylon, and the harvest of the earth. Those with the mark of the beast are compared to grapes in a vineyard. John describes 7 plagues, 7 bowls, and 7 angels. Section 6, Babylon, the beast, the smaller beast. We see this in chapters 17 through 19. John prophesies of the saints' removal from Babylon and its subsequent ruin. John describes the rejoicing, the heaven that will happen. There is rampant debate among Bible scholars concerning the location of this mention of Babylon and the method of its destruction. Section 7, All Things Made New. We see this in chapters 20 through 22. John reveals that Satan will be bound for 1,000 years, followed by a resurrection of the dead. He then prophesies that Satan will be released and a last battle will occur. In the end, God will cast judgment on the dead. John then describes a new heaven and earth and God drying all the tears. He testifies of the truthfulness of his vision. All right, that brings us to the end of our overview on the book of Revelation. It also brings us to the end of our overview on all 66 books of the Bible. Do yourself a favor. Like, comment, subscribe. I have the New Testament and the Old Testament split into a playlist so you can listen to them, just to give you a quick overview of every book's in the Bible, and share it. Share it with someone who may be new to scripture or someone who just wants a nice overview on each book of the Bible. You might want to, it will help them out with where the books were written, who wrote the books, and some of the meaning of the books. Anyway, that's all for now. Godspeed.